Hi guys, it's Ayla from MissAylaHelps.blogspot.com. I recently was asked about tips for getting back into the school mode because school is starting up and parents are freaking out and kids are freaking out and getting nervous. And I'm here to tell you guys there's nothing to be nervous about. It's going to be all good. This year is going to be a great year, especially because you've got me here to give you 8 tips. Eight tips. I can't count. 8 tips on how to have a great school year and to start that year off great. So, tip number 1 is get organized. You definitely want to have a planner, a calendar, something to write down everything that you need, whether it's homework or whenever you're going to need to buy school supplies, to keep track of when you have a test, to keep track of doctor's appointments and when you might miss school so that you can keep your teachers updated and whatever it is that they need to know so that they can send you home with homework, or just so that you can be prepared for every day of school. You definitely want to have some kind of organization, because if you are organized, it is so much less stress up in here. So definitely get yourself a calendar, get some really cool colored pens and some highlighters so you can keep track of everything that you need to keep track of. And there's one less thing for you to have to worry about when you're able to write it and forget it. Tip number 2. Good first impressions. I cannot stress how important it is to walk into that classroom and feel confident and that you believe in yourself and have that good self-esteem, and to also have a good attitude. It is not a good idea to walk into a classroom and give your teacher the stank eye, like, whatever, okay, you're gonna teach me this year, because you're gonna have a hard year. Go into that classroom with a smile on your face. Be nice, be polite, be kind, be helpful if she needs or he needs help with anything, and have a good attitude. And when your teacher sees that you have a good attitude, she's gonna have a good attitude. And a happy teacher is a happy classroom. I guarantee you that. Tip number 3 is sleep habits. Oh my goodness. Get some shut-eye. Definitely trying to get some good sleep habits before school starts and then while school is in session is a great idea. You want to try to avoid using any electronics before you go to sleep, having really bright, harsh lights in your face, eating a really heavy meal, or drinking a lot of liquids before you go to sleep, because it'll be really hard to get to sleep after that. However, studies show that having a nice, simple, healthy snack, so not a bag of Skittles, but maybe like an apple or a bagel, or what else would be had? Some carrots, some celery, something small but healthy before you go to bed can help you fall asleep. Also, drinking some milk or drinking some calming tea is another way to help you get to sleep faster and just more peaceful. No electronics, like I said. Keep the lights out of your face. It's just not a good idea. Try to avoid doing homework right before you go to sleep and studying right before you go to sleep, because you go to sleep with that stress about what you have to do the next day. It's just not a good idea. I think tip number 1 was get organized. So if you have a whole bunch of things that you know you're going to have to do the next day, try to get a list down, a to-do list down of the things that you're going to have to do, so that you can take it out of your brain and put it into a piece of paper. Once you get your list down, see my little list of things right here, then it's kind of like taking one thing out of a bucket and putting it into another, and then you have an empty bucket. See this is my imaginary bucket. It's a heavy bucket too. Look at these muscles. This is a heavy bucket. You have this imaginary bucket that has nothing in it, so you can go to sleep with nothing on your mind. Also, trying to get 8 hours of sleep or more for good brain functioning. If you're not getting enough sleep at night, you are waking up cranky, you're waking up groggy, and just feeling even more tired than you were before you went to sleep, and your brain is not going to work. You may be awake, but this thing in here is not. And you're going to go to school, and you're just going to make that school day much harder for you. So get that 8 hours of sleep, get that rest, and let's have a good day at school. Yeah? Tip number 4, eating habits. Eating brain foods is really good for school. You definitely want to try to eat green leafy foods and get that iron in there. Vitamin B gives you lots of great energy, that good natural energy, not like caffeine that you get really, really cranked up on the caffeine or on sugar, and then you have that low coming off of it feeling to where you're like, oh my goodness, I'm jittery and shaking. It's just not a good feeling. So vitamin B, which strawberries and blueberries have a lot of vitamin B. So if you want to eat like a blueberry bagel or have a blueberry shake in the morning, that's a great way to get that energy going for the morning. Proteins, chicken, eggs, fish, things like that. Keep those things in your diet and you will feel so good. Your brain is going to feel good. Your body is going to feel good. And you're going to have great days at school. I guarantee you. Tip number 5. Using the other hand this time. Tip number 5. Study habits. Get that notebook out and read it. Don't just look at it. Don't skim through the pages and say, oh, okay, I wrote some notes down. No. Get it out. Read it over and over and over. Write your notes over again. Record yourself reading your notes to yourself. And while you're in the car, while you're in the shower, while you're getting ready in the morning, while you're just sitting around doing nothing, watching YouTube videos, listen to yourself reading those notes to you. Good study habits is a great way to have a great year. Find a nice quiet place away from your siblings, away from your parents, away from the TV, away from everything, where you can study and really, really focus. Also, try to study the same time around this, like the same time each day or every other day or every other day for some of you who are just not going to study that much. I get it. Who wants to study? But if you try to have a habit of, at this time on this day, I am going to study, it'll be so much more easy because you'll form a habit, like I said, and you'll be ready for it, and it won't be too tedious of a task. Don't study for too long. Your brain can only take in so much information at one time. So you don't want to keep studying for 3 hours straight, because after about 45 minutes, whatever you studied is gone anyway, and all you're doing is stressing yourself out. So you don't want to do that. You want to definitely have some good study habits and feel less stressed about studying. So definitely try to study in 15 to 20 minute increments, and then after that take a 5-minute brain break to do something. Watch your favorite TV show, watch a funny YouTube video, eat a snack, take a sip of your drink, something just to rest your brain and give it a chance to absorb the information and process and store the information that you just put into your head, so that it can be ready for the next batch of information that you're about to take in. Also, try not to study in your bed. It's really not a good idea to study in your bed, because your bed is your place of peace. And one of two things is going to happen. You're going to get in bed and you're going to want to go to sleep, or you're going to be thinking about how you cannot wait to finish studying so that you can go to sleep, and you're not going to be focused, or you're going to be really, really tired, and studying is just going to be a miserable process and task anyway, and you're not going to get anything out of it. So either that will happen, or every time you see your bed, you're going to dread seeing your bed, because you're not going to think of it as a resting place. You're going to think of it as a resting place, and also some place where you have to study those horrible books and those horrible notes and write all those horrible papers. So try to find somewhere completely separate so that your bed can always be your happy place. It's that reward at the end of the day. You worked really, really hard, and now you get to go to sleep. Yes. Tip number 6. I gotta use both hands now because I'm on 6. Social skills and friends. Definitely try to be kind, try to be nice, try to make good friends. Talk about good things that are happening in the world, or crazy things that you've seen. I have a funny story really quick. A couple days ago, I walked into a grocery store, and a guy came in. He was really, really angry, and he had a empty bag of water. And I kept thinking to myself, please don't tell me this guy is about to do what I think he's about to do. Apparently, he didn't have a car, which actually is really sad. That's not the funny part of the story. But he didn't have a car, so he had to walk to his house with a bag of ice, and the ice melted. So he was mad that his ice melted on his hot walk to his house, and tried to bring the bag of water back, or get a refund, I guess, or exchange it for another bag of ice, just for it to happen again. I thought that was really, really funny. So, what was my point again? Oh yeah, social skills. So think about funny things that happen to you and share it with people around you. Make new friends. Talk about good things that are going on in school or in your community. Talk about your favorite TV show. Talk about anything that you're interested in. Find people who are interested in it and make those good friends so that you can have a good year, because you're going to have a good support system and people to turn to whenever you feel like you just can't take it anymore. You can't deal with that mean teacher. You just can't handle the fact that you have 1,000 different tests in 1 week. Make those friends, have those friends to have your back, and you are going to have a great year. Promise. Tip number 7 is self-care. I cannot stress to you how important self-care is. So, in a nutshell, self-care means that you're taking care of yourself. You are practicing good hygiene. You're brushing your teeth. You're combing your hair. You are putting lotion on your body so that you can be nice and smooth. You are eating good foods, healthy foods, happy foods. You're getting good sleep. You're doing fun things so that you don't always feel so stressed out. You're staying organized. You're staying on task. You're making good grades. Self-care means that you are doing everything possible to make sure that you are just as happy as can be, and that's going to help you to have a great year. And last but not least, tip number 8 is ask questions. If you have to ask your parents, your teacher, your principal, the school counselor, the school social worker, a neighbor, whatever, whoever it is that can answer your questions, ask them. Always, 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 always remember, there's no stupid questions. Sometimes. Don't be afraid to ask questions about anything that's going on that you think you need help with, because you don't want to be left in the dark. You don't want to feel like you have no clue what's going on and feel confused and feel stressed out. Ask those questions, get those answers, so that it's one less thing off of your mind. Don't be scared to raise your hand and say, teacher, I have no clue what in the world you're talking about. But wait for her to call on you, please, because then you'll have other issues if you're talking out of turn in class. Raise your hand, ask questions. I guarantee you, if you have a question, someone else has a question too. Okay? So, that is Miss Ayla's 8 tips on how to have a good school year. So, let's start that school year off right, and we're going to be positive, and we're going to be happy, and we are going to make A's and B's and pass those LEAP tests or whatever crazy test they have you guys taking this year, and you are going to have a great, wonderful, happy, positive year. I can feel it in my bones. I just know it's going to happen. Feel free to visit www.missaylahelps.blogspot.com for fun activities and interventions for clients, kids, parents, teachers, whatever, whoever feels the need to visit this blog. It is a great resource with lots of good ideas, lots of fun videos. I definitely have a good self-esteem video like montage on there. There's a bunch of different videos on self-esteem. So if you start to feel a little bit down, check out those videos. Love you guys.